here, this book changed my life already.
Thank
The
you.
reason why I'm saying it is because now I have this conscious awareness, like if my money is smiling and beaming with joy and happiness. So your book completely changed the attitude about money. So thank you. I have a lot to ask you, a lot to talk about. First of all, because I read your book and there were many interesting stories, but one that really caught my attention was when you came from school and saw your father crying, and that because there's some tragic news about his friend. So please share with us how, first of all, you were able to manage the time as a young kid, and second of all, what you did to go through the dark time, what you told yourself, and what did you believe in to get out on the stronger side.
When I came back home from school one day, I saw my father crying, and my mother told me that my father, who was a successful accountant at the time, his best friend committed suicide because of money. And not only himself, but he killed the entire family, I think it's 4, and then committed suicide. There is a term, it's called family suicide, to save the disgrace and shame of going bankrupt. So my father regretted so much because he had the money, but he waited until they file bankruptcy because the money he gave to the family before bankruptcy all goes to the loan shark. But he's a Japanese guy who doesn't talk much, so he didn't tell him. So all his life he regretted the fact that he didn't tell his best friend that he had the money for the family. And after that, my father went into alcoholism and depression. So my first probably 7 years was a fairly happy childhood. But after that, we didn't laugh a lot in our family, and my father got violent. So I thought it's because of money. So in my mind, when I was a child, money was an evil, a terrible, very scary thing, because money could kill not only you, but the entire family. So I think when I was small and at the time, I made up my mind to make sure that I have enough money so my family will be safe. And I still feel the pain, and also still feel just this anxiety around money. So I think to know about money is very important. So I got curious. I think probably when I was like 8 or 9, I started kind of doing some research. I asked, say, neighbors, are you rich? Like grab my school teacher, and I was asking my teacher and about money, and she said, "No, I don't know much about money because I'm a school teacher." So that way, I kind of realized that there are people who are good at money. They are not so good at money. So if I had somebody like you in my childhood, maybe I took you as a mentor, and then I asked you to teach. But there are no mentors. And as I grew up, I realized that I should talk to the adults who know about money, because it seemed to me 95% of the adults don't seem to know anything about it. That's why they have to work so hard, and they just kind of don't know what to do with money. So they go gambling, or just save. And that didn't really seem the right answers. So in search for the secrets of money, I have started to meet many successful people.
I'm interested in neuroscience and neuroplasticity and so on. And I believe that brain experts say from birth to age 6 or 7, children's predominant brain waves are either delta or theta. So that means first 6 or 7 years of children's lives are spent mostly in hypnotic trance. So that means that they record all the sensory experiences and download all the massive amounts of information about the environment and the world they are living in. Mm-hmm. So when you go back to those times, like you were in the mostly, your brain waves were under conscious level, right? So you were basically automatically responding to whatever the external environment, the messages were coming from the environment. So how did you process that? You had this curiosity to learn about money and wanted to be secure financially, right, from a very young age. And you decided that. And what steps did you take from that moment on?
I started to read biographies of very
Mm.
successful people. And but started with somebody like Edison, who started GE, and he became wealthy and he invented all the things. But I realized that those super rich people have great lessons, but it's not for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So then I came up with this idea. Maybe you don't have to be super wealthy, but in order to be happy, maybe that's not the path. So I think instead of going shoot for the moon, I think I should be sort of like not settling, but I should aim for lower ones for my safety, my happiness. And that's why I came up with this idea. Later on, I wrote a book about it. But you have to be happy first
Mm-hmm.
and have some money. So no money is not a happy situation, but you don't have to have so much because too much money could disturb your happiness. If you're 35, 25, or 45, or 55, you may feel so stuck. It looks like everywhere you look is a wall. You're just kind of boxed in. But when you kind of push one of the walls, you realize it's actually a door looking like a wall. So just figure out that it's not going to last forever. So your miserable situation will not last forever. And from my experiences, usually miserable situations don't last longer than a year. And
Wow.
the biggest one could last a few years. But I ask people in their 40s and 50s, and can you remember 10 years ago what you worried so much? And like, that's right, I remember. But when you're in this situation, you're like either life and death. It's a very tense situation. But after 5 years or 10 years, people don't even remember. But
Mm-hmm.
you were almost dying, because of the problem.
This is really beautiful expression. Beautiful analogy that you use an example of a door. I love that so much. But you have a very interesting story. You have your personal journey is really interesting to me. You are a low major student, and then you are working in the accounting field, and now you are a book author, and then you are basically coaching and mentoring people all over the world. How did you make the transition and really in pursuit of happy money from as a low major student?
Actually, I wrote a couple books on that.
Uh-huh.
To make it short, I always think of my life as chapters, like books. So, my accounting days are like one chapter from 22 to like 26. And then my semi-retirement days, I retired when I was 29 because I had enough money. So my wife and I took 4 years off of our life and just concentrated on our child. So that's the most beautiful 4 years of my life. And that's like chapter 2 or like chapter 4, 5. And then I started writing like crazy because 4 years I did nothing. So I got so creative. So I couldn't stop writing. So ever since, for the past 20 years, I've written about a few books a year. And now I'm publishing a book a year, a book a month on a monthly Ken Honda bookstore. It's in Japanese, but there are about 10,000 people
Wow.
subscribing to that.
Well, so that makes you like if you started writing your book, probably I guess of maybe at around like a 30 something
Mhm.
or 20 years that make you like over 50.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? You don't look that way at all. What's the secret to youthfulness?
I think I'm just enjoying my life. So whatever I do is almost like a play. So I teach people how to find gifts. And also I ask people to enjoy life. Because as long as you enjoy what you do,
Mhm.
and it doesn't really matter if it's work or play. And all the work I do is almost like a play. Right now, this is in a place in my Tokyo office, but I have a retreat center. I have a few places. So in the retreat center, there are thousands of books. So I'm in heaven. So I can't complain about my life.
Wow, it's like when I just hear that, I remember, like, when I first went to Jack Canfield's house, his office actually, it
Mhm.
was filled with books everywhere. And just hearing your sharing, I just imagined that. So you actually love reading books from a very young age?
Yes, I think probably like I needed to escape from reality because reality really, was so miserable. So I wanted to kind of explore the safe place. I think it's in books. And I was fascinated with people who have wisdom. And so I was very fascinated with Asian culture and also, ancient Rome and all those philosophers and Greek and Roman philosophers
Wow.
fascinated me so much.
That is really impressive. I'm so glad to hear that because I love reading books too. I believe that at Money Master Kids, the reason why we encourage and empower parents and educators around the world so much about, just importance of teaching kids life skills, including financial life skills early is because of this, the brain waves where kids are just downloading everything, just, whatever that is surrounding them as an information, and that affects the rest of their life. So we encourage parents and educators to really expose our young kids to like positive, thriving, healthy environment where they can learn something very, very important. Not like just having them play with this high technology, electronic gadgets and just play at the playground all day long, but something useful with their brain because their brain has like, I believe that about 80 billion neurons in their brain. They have to use them, right? So that's why we educate, all the kids from a very young age about this important financial life skill concept. It's so crucial for them to understand the happy money concept and also a healthy relationship with money. Do you believe that it's really empowering to kids from a young age?
Actually, my books, all my books are very easy to read. I don't use difficult Chinese characters. So I had like a 10-year-old boy saying that, Ken, your book is very easy to read. Actually, in fact, your book is the first book that I read from the start to the end.
Oh, really?
So, they read my books because I have a comic books too. And then they got this idea of happy money. So they when they go shopping with their mother, 10-year-old boy asks his mother, "Hey, mom, is that the happy money you're spending?" Ken said, "You're just wasting your money because you're frustrated and you think it's a reward for you. That's not happy money. Money makes you feel, so joyful. So you have to make sure that you buy the right thing." So actually, I got email from his mother that he told her the story. I hope kids or anybody learn that money is fun. Money is there to make you feel more exciting, more fun, and more joyful. But most of us are so stressed out because of money, and it's not
Mhm.
so healthy because money can be a lot of fun.
Wow, I am in total agreement with you in that. So let's just shift the gear a little bit. So my next question is this. A lot of times when people, including children, you and I, actually, I didn't really tell you about my story. I'm from a very, financially underprivileged family in South Korea. So we are neighbors. I'm originally from South Korea. I grew up as the youngest of four. And I didn't know how poor, we were. But then when I went to elementary school on the other side of the neighborhood, I saw a whole different reality. A lot of kids were dressed up very nicely. The food they were eating for lunch was different. So at the time, it was like I was 7 at the time. And I finally realized that, there's something wrong with our financial situation. And then I realized we were very, very poor. How poor? All I had to play with at the time was cockroaches and rats for my toys. So we were very poor, but it didn't really, you were talking about money wounds, right? Because I was too young and I guess I was very naive to realize if that was hurting me or not. But what I realized is that it's very inconvenient and very uncomfortable. It's not fun not to play with, beautiful Barbie and, a dollhouse and things like that. So as a young child at the age of 7, I made up my mind to be financially secure. Then in your book too, when you were 8, you made that kind of decision too. And then after that, I also made up my mind, one day when I become a mother, I want to teach my kids all there is to know about money management and financial responsibility and financial freedom. And you also mentioned about that in your book that, you wanted to teach your kids about money. Well, so including children like you and me, many, many, decades ago, a lot of people, when they face financial challenges, difficulties, or hardships, and they start having these worries and anxieties, and then they go into this fight or flight or freeze mode, and rather than just rest and digest and healing and rejuvenation mode. And someone said that you cannot really see the picture if you are in the frame. So my question to you is, how can people get out of that mindset and get out of that situation by shifting their awareness from where they are at to where they want to go and maintain that happy money concept for the rest of their life?
Yeah. So before I start, let me just kind of define what happy money is. I learned from my mentor, Wahei Takeda, who's called Warren Buffett of Japan. And he said, there's one thing to know about money. He said, arigato your money. That means thank you money when coming in and going out. So he said, arigato in, arigato out. So that
arigato in, arigato out.
Yes. Yeah, it could be sheishe or kamsamnida or whatever the language you choose. It's okay. Just thank the money coming in, thank the money going out. So that is a concept. So as long as you do that, you just enjoy money, and also you start appreciating about your life. And once you have this attitude of appreciation, your life shifts. So that's, I think, anybody can do. And for young people too, if you receive allowance from your parents, you can appreciate your parents. If you complain about money, they'll complain about you. But if you just start appreciating, daddy, mommy, thank you for paying this. I'm so appreciated. I feel so appreciated about this money. And they will probably give you a raise. So it's better tactics to appreciate them instead of complaining.
But like technically, if you are in the middle of this frustration, anger, and things are bubbling within you in a very negative way, it's really hard to say thank you about anything, especially money, right? So how can we get in the habit of actually saying thank you no matter what's going on in our external world? Because inwardly we feel that gratitude and joy and appreciation. How can we cultivate that?
It's very simple. You just think of the people who give you the money. If you're a freelancer, your client chose you over thousands of other candidates. If you're a cleaner, there are many dry cleaners, but they chose you. And if you're young people, and then your parents give you the money, that's a great thing. So you can appreciate, wow, it doesn't really matter how much money you have or how much you make. Thank you so much. Because of this money, I can buy food. Because of the money, I can buy iPhone, or whatever that is. So once you start appreciating, the appreciation grows in you. And also when you spend money, a lot of people get frustrated or upset when they spend money, but you're getting something in return. You're eating at the restaurant, you get served beautiful food. And if you just go on the bus, you have this transportation service. So in exchange, you pay for that. So you can say thank you to the bus driver or thank you to whoever you're paying to. A lot of people have this funny attitude, I'm paying, so you should thank me. So no, because you're getting something with this money. So you can say thank you. And they will appreciate you because there are not many people who appreciate somebody when they pay. Right. So you stand out. So that also helps too.
So what you're saying is that instead of like just waiting for that feeling to come to us, we make an intentional choice and decision and action to start looking for something that we can be really grateful for and say thanks. Thank you.
Yes. And the most practical way, when you have money worries and money fears, you start giving away your money. So at the grocery store, there's usually a jar or something, right? A box. You can give $1. And if you are so tight with money, give 10 cents.
Uh-huh.
or 1 cent even, just start giving what you have. And then that makes you feel good. So once you start giving away money, you subconsciously, you think, oh, maybe I have more than enough. So the essence of happy money is the feeling
Mm.
that you have more than enough. And that makes you feel so good. And that starts to attract more money. So this feeling is, I have more than enough always. It's my affirmation, by the way. So I don't know, 20, 25 years, I have had more than enough. That's why I'm wealthy and I don't have to worry about money because I have lived my life that way. So it's more of an
Wow.
attitude.
Hmm. And in your book, you said it's not about how much you have, but how you have and what kind of feeling you associate with that money. So my next question is this, you share with this idea that actually money is not the problem, but the ones who use the money, right? So like us, we human beings, we use the money or we abuse the money. Uh, in my book, actually, I use a similar analogy, not exactly like that. I use the example of a knife. So, for example, if the knife is in the hand of a surgeon, the surgeon can heal people. If it is in the hand of a chef, that of course, gourmet, amazing, yummy tasting food would come out as a result. If it goes to the hand of a criminal, that it can be, someone can be harmed or, killed. If it goes to the hand of a child, of course, it can be very dangerous. So knife is neutral. What determines whether a knife is good or bad is who, first of all, who has it and
Mhm.
what to do with this. So I think it is the same with the money. And you're saying the people are the problems. Well, how can we become a solution of this problem and just create a very sustainable and maximum result that we want in our financial life?
So when my daughter was small, I was asked by many people, what do you teach about money? Because I'm regarded as money expert. So I said, actually, I teach my daughter about money, but at the same time, I teach my daughter to make friends. And also, I teach my daughter, or I encourage my daughter to follow your heart. Because, when you look at the world and what's going on, people who are happy and also people who have beautiful, I call it life work or activities, are those who are following their heart. They're doing every day what excites them the most. So I think that's really the keys. When I asked my mentor 25 more years ago, I asked him about money, and he said, "My money lesson to you about money is forget about money."
Wow.
And he
Wow.
was like a Zen Buddhist, like, huh? I want to know about money. Why do I have to forget about money? And I was so upset.
Wow.
And he said, come back next week. Like, what? So, and but the thing he wanted to teach me is that you have to start giving what you have, and people will give money to you in return. So instead of getting focused on what you get, you have to focus on what you give. That's why I teach young people to find their true calling, the day why you are born. So if you have a beautiful voice, you're meant to be a singer. And if you have smart ideas, you should be a creator. And if you love people, you can be in sales. Whatever that is, just enjoy your life. And if you enjoy work, you'll be very successful too.
Hmm. Well, it just reminds me of one of my mentors. One of my mentors said, his name is Jim Rohn. He's a deceased, motivational guru here in the United States. And he said, don't pursue money or success. You're going to attract money and success by becoming who you are destined to be. By becoming who you are. So by becoming the person that is generous, very motivating, empowering, and very loving and caring, you attract success and money by default, as a byproduct. And that was really beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing about finding the true purpose. So how do little young children find their true purpose and their destiny, mission or calling, as you speak?
Yeah, for example, your parents scold you for something, and that's usually your talent or gift. I was scolded many times to be quiet because I talked all the time. I may know it. So when your parents scold you, that's your gift because that really stands out.
Yeah.
So if I just, if you remember what you were scolded most, say, don't play too much outside, or don't hang out too much with your friends. That means you are good at making friends. And if you're scolded that you're reading too many books, it could hurt your eyes. That means you have a gift of concentrating on this philosophical ideas. So whatever you're scolded, that's where your gifts lie. And also, whatever you spend your time and money on, that's usually a gift too. There are so many gifts, but usually, unless you're a star, like a singer or a baseball player, you have multiple gifts. And usually it's not like standing out by itself. So I'm a writer, and also I'm a speaker, and also I'm a healer. I'm a comedian too.
What kind of comedian are you?
In my lecture, people laugh all the time because I make jokes. So I try to make less jokes in interviews, but in my lecture, people laugh, and they really enjoy my lecture because, money is a serious thing. For example, when I give a couple a counseling, and usually we are we are fighting over such a small thing. Husband says, I want to go work, and then I want to drink cold soda, because it's so hot out there. So he's in sales. But he is complaining that his wife doesn't allow him to buy from soda machines, which is cold. And so he was almost crying, can I buy a cold drink when it's hot? And she said, no, you don't make that much money. Yeah, so stuff like that. So we do funny things and we say, please, 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 please. And then your dreams get crashed by your wife or husband, So there are so many funny things. And if we can laugh about it, I think the healing happens.
Very unique combination of a healer, a money coach, an author, and also comedian. And you wear so many hats, and you find joy in doing everything, which is really awesome.
I give talks to thousands of people. Now I do online. My last online seminar, we have about 9,000 people watching.
Congratulations! I'm so happy to find you. And I really thank you for joining this show. I'm really enjoying it so far. So my next question is, you talk a lot about the importance of being in the flow of money, which is awesome concept, especially happy money. I think the flow is a key to any kind of success, right? Success, health, and abundance and happiness. For example, if you look at our body, we have the blood flow, right? Can you imagine our blood flow is either slow or blocked due to all this toxic waste to build up? So if the circulation is poor, that obviously is going to slow or block the blood flow. I think it's true with our money too. Imagine if our financial blood flow is either slow or blocked by whatever the circumstances or reason. If our blood flow is blocked or slow or bad, then our doctor suggests us, recommend that we do exercise, on a regular basis, or we do stress management, we do massage, or eat healthy food and so forth, right? So there is a step-by-step process, something that we can do. But when the financial blood flow has problem, what are some steps that we can take and also maintain the happy and healthy flow of money?
So I think hanging around with happy people, that really helps. So I have many happy and wealthy friends. So they always focus on sharing, and they're excited about the project, and they're always in helping. So, when you take a look at the world, there are people who try to take advantage of other people. There are people who are helping other people. Like you said, our mentor in mutual is Jack Canfield. He is so generous in giving away. So if you hang around with those people, you feel like, oh, well, maybe I want to do something more so I can give people. So the more I give, the more you receive. So you're in the cycle of this happy money.
This is a really interesting concept to me. First of all, somebody said that you are, who you are surrounded by, or you are, hanging out with, right? Because we become, who we are hanging out with. So how do we find those happy people? First of all, we live in a dark world, right? There are so many naysayers, so many negative, toxic people out there. Among them, how can you find those stars, like illuminating themselves and illuminating other people?
That's a good question. Probably you have a few hundred people or 1,000 people on your Facebook. And when you look at, try to remember who is the happiest and who is the most abundant person on your iPhone, and who you can have a chat or coffee or tea. Like somebody like Jack Canfield, you can't meet him every day. But if you're just, there are people who are sort of like your friend, but so who you can get together for tea or dinner or like a Zoom, and try to spend more time with the person. And they are usually hanging around with very nice people too. So kind of join that circle. And I call it Panama, Canal.
Wow.
So then you move up like that, and then you're even. And then you move up like that, and then you go. So that's why I get to hang out with royal families and, prime ministers and presidents and CEOs of big companies. Because when you're a friend with somebody, he or she will regard you as a friend. And that's how I'm introduced to top singers and, politicians. And so it's interesting how you think of somebody as a friend. And if you're in that circle, it's so easy. All you have to do is make one phone call or just one text message. And then that, usually does everything.
It just reminds me of this quote, like a bird of a feather flock together. So, like-minded people always like to hang out together, right? So do we have to be first happy people to hang out with those happy people, or can we just come in as is and get influenced maybe by them?
There are two kinds of people who pull the best out of you and who pull worst out of you. So hang around people. If you have hung around with the people who pull best out of you, when you're around Jack Canfield, you want to be the best that you can be, right? Not necessarily to impress him, but to be better. So I just discovered that I want to be better in giving in English too. I've done so much work in Japanese, so my books have been sold 8 million copies. So 1 out of 20 Japanese or like 15 Japanese I read my book. So I'm just satisfied with where I am, but I have this dream to start doing this in Chinese and in English. And by doing that, I can reach half the population on the planet.
Wow, this is really amazing.
So by upgrading yourself, you will start meeting better people. So start doing some volunteer work, start giving away something you have. It doesn't really matter your money, your time, your energy, and your smile, and your kind words. Those will be out there, and then you receive something. So, and then you start giving away something. And this cycle of happy money and happy feeling will lift you up.
It's like also like a law of attraction, by just listening to you, just that comes into my mind. You basically being a person that is very happy, very generous and loving and giving and sharing, you attract more of the good stuff from life and people around you. So
Yeah,
my next question is, you talk a lot about people, having all kinds of relationship with money, right? Regardless of their financial, like economic spectrum or their tax brackets. I mean, you talk about there are a lot of people who are millionaires or even billionaires who are miserable. On the other hand, there are people who have less money but seem to be very happy. How do we create that healthy, happy, lifelong relationship with money from a young age?
I think you have to know about money first. What money can do, as you said, Sunny, it's like a knife. Money can be used in the most beautiful way. Money can be an angel, or money can be a devil.
Mhm.
Because people even commit crimes and commit murders because of money. Why? Money triggers all the emotions. So you have to
Mhm.
know this magical power that money has. That's why everyone on this planet wants to have more money. So you have to really get out of this hypnotic state, trance, that I need to have more money. And also the other thing is you have to know about who you are. Unless you know who you are, you want to be somebody else. You don't need to be a billionaire. Like in my life, I am not going to be a billionaire, and I'm very happy about it. I will have more money that I can spend, but I don't need to be a billionaire. And because
You never know. You could be the next J.K. Rowling who became like a
yeah,
self-made
that's
billionaire.
possible, but
Yeah,
that's not my intention.
right.
A lot of people, they try to sell their books for like a million copies or like a millionaire, those things. I mean, don't focus on that. Focus on what you're excited about, what you love, and you have so much energy about, and go for it. Otherwise, your life will be miserable. I've met many uh, petite wealthy, is what I call people, like lawyers, doctors, and who went into that profession because of money and
Mhm.
stability and security. And they end up being so miserable in their 40s and 50s because they didn't pursue what they love. So, especially if you're younger than 30, you can focus on what you are very, very, very excited about. And unless you follow your heart will be dead. And even if you have security and financial independence, if your heart is dead, you cannot enjoy life. And if your life is full of enjoyment and excitement, it will eventually start attracting money. So one
Mhm.
of the bestsellers I wrote is "Do what you love and make sure that money will follow you."
Well, I believe that, when you are passionate about what you do, it's no longer a job, but it's more like a hobby. You use the word, play, fun, right? When you
Yes,
only have a lot of fun doing what you love, I mean, everything else will follow naturally, even money and success.
there are two aspects of money: financial IQ part and financial EQ part. Financial IQ is all about investment and technical thing and how to grow your money and how to save taxes and all that kind of thing. You need to know some of those, but you can hire a good accountant,
Mhm.
trust somebody. So IQ part, you don't really have to have it. What you have to have is money EQ. That's why I teach courses on money EQ. I have taught hundreds of thousands of people over the past 20 years. And in essence, money EQ is how happy you are with money. So if you become the best friend with money, your life is all set. But 95% of us, unfortunately, we are slaves to money. And a few
Mhm.
percent of people are masters of money, very arrogant, wealthy people that they think they can do anything with money. So either you become a master or slaves. Either way, you cannot really enjoy life.
How can they cultivate more of this EQ side? Because a lot of people tend to focus on money IQ side.
Yeah.
And there's an expectation in this society that you need to know pretty much everything about money, the ins and out of the money. But how can we really like cultivate and develop the habit of focusing on that EQ side and really be, good at it?
So there's a few rules about money EQ. And the first one is receive. Unless you receive well, you cannot enjoy money. But we are so good at giving, but we are so bad at receiving. When I give talks to thousands of people, I ask them, how many of you like giving? And pretty much everybody, because I have nice people in my room. And I said, how many people are good at receiving? So usually about 10, 15, 20%.
Why do you think that's the case?
Because we love giving, because we can be a good people. Right? But when we receive, we feel guilty. We feel we're not worthy. We feel like we're taking other people's money or kindness. But when you look at giving and receiving, it's a cycle. So unless there is a receiver, there cannot be a giver. So receive well is the first law of money EQ. So receive well and appreciate is number two, and appreciate what you have, or appreciate the flow. And also rule number three is trust. So trust is a very interesting thing, because right at this moment in the world, millions of people have a hard time trusting the money flow. Once you lose your job, you cannot have a complete trust where the money comes from after the government checks. So trust is the most important of all the money EQ in terms of happiness, because most of us worry so much. The number one reason is we have a hard time trusting. This trust issue is also a big issue. It's nothing to do with money. It's about life. Because of all the money trauma that we experienced when we were small, and also in 20s and 30s and 40s, everybody has experienced some kind of trauma. So we are obsessively worrying about money. My mother used to worry about my financial situation. I've sold millions of books, but she always asked me, can you pay your monthly expenses? I was like, Mom, I'm okay, but her job is to worry.
Well, I think it is also it has a lot to do with what kind of relationship they had with money from a very young age. Because as I mentioned earlier, until age 7, they are basically soaking up all that is going on around them in their external world, believing that is their life. So recently, I watched an interview where there were two self-made billionaires. And there was a lady interviewing another billionaire lady, and they were talking about all the other things. And then at one point, they were talking about money. And I was really shocked to hear that both of them said, they're billionaires, right? Both of them said that they're still worrying about money.
That reminds me of a story about Rockefeller. When he was in his 50s, he couldn't sleep. So he asked his doctor for medical advice. But instead, he's a very smart man. He advised Mr. Rockefeller to start donating money. And once he started donating money, Rockefeller realized that he has more money than he can spend. And then he could, and that is a start of a Rockefeller Foundation.
Wow.
So that's why I said, start donating one penny or a dime or a dollar. That way you feel safe. So to finish the story of money EQ, the rule number 4 is share. If you start sharing what you have, you feel so good. So just start sharing what you have. So I'm encouraging wealthy people and financially comfortable people to start sharing what you have. I'm sharing a lot of money now for the people who cannot keep going. My family, we have more than enough for the rest of our life. So I'm just start sharing what I have, and then just pay checks or send checks or send money. So wherever I go, I have stacks of envelopes, and I have cash in envelopes. Whoever has a hard time dealing with life, I give away the envelopes. So I'm just enjoying so much. So I can give money, I can give wisdom, I can give my heart and love, and you can give so many things. So what you give will come back. So my income has grown so much for the past few months because I'm giving away so much, and then I get so much. So, it's almost like a battle. The more I give, the more I get. And I'm enjoying the battle so much right now.
Yeah, well, I can definitely see that in your face too. You are beaming with the joy and happiness, and that means much. It speaks much louder than anything else, because I can feel that your energy of happiness. Even like what's that? We have like 11,000 miles away.
Yeah.
Well, probably 12,000. I don't know exactly. So what is that, financial leadership or financial responsibility or financial freedom means, when it comes to your child, what does that mean to them, him or her?
It's interesting. I look at life as generational, like you experienced that when you're a child. But I bet your children, I saw two beautiful boys, they're having a very comfortable life, right? And I have many Korean American friends whose first generation had a hard time. And the second generation, they become doctors and lawyers, and like you're very successful. And then the third generation, many of them are like bad kids. So what's interesting is that unless you really share your heart with your kids' life will be ruined. So I'm sort of regarding myself as a second generation. And so I taught my daughter to be hungry, not in terms of greedy, but you need to have passion. Otherwise, a lot of young kids from wealthy family, they have no life force. So I think you have to be very careful. If you teach too much about money to kids, they'll become a greedy people. So, and also if you teach kids how to start giving away what they have, and not only money, but also who they are, I think they become a very beautiful human being. So I think that has to be included in money education. Otherwise, more money, happy people, so that kind of idea will really ruin their philosophy, happiness.
Well received here. When it comes to money and teaching kids about money, I'm totally with you on the same page. Because of my, really destructive family background and also childhood experience, I made up my mind to just really go opposite way, like to really help my kids, not like spoil them to death. I could be that person, but I wanted to teach them to be responsible. I wanted to help them to really learn their financial responsibility from a young age. So what I did was I taught them what it means to have money, to earn money, to make money, save and invest from age 2.
Wow.
Yeah, so my kids, they really work their butt off to do all kinds of chores to earn money from age 2. They save the money, and from there, I help them to save their money in the checking account and then move their money to investment accounts. So now they have their money in checking, investing, college fund, and even retirement plan with their money. And they're 16. They're 16, and they're gonna, in a few years, they're gonna go to college. They both want to become doctors, as you mentioned real quickly. The second generation, they are much better off, right? So they will pay for their college because I'm not gonna be the one who will pay for their college. And they really value their hard work, and they feel very proud that they will be the one who will be, taking charge of their financial, because they feel like they are the leaders of their financial life and therefore the master of their life. So, and I love that transition from just a child to a young adult who feels responsible about all life quests. So my next question is, in your book, you wrote, if money were a person, what would your money's personification be? And I was thinking to myself, what would that be? And then there was one word that came to my mind. There was teachers, because the money from very young age, money really taught me many things about life and people, in a good and bad way. And because of that, I learned this concept that, just life learning. It's like lifetime learning. And I'm continuously learning about different things about money and also the relationship with money, especially your book really helped me very recently. So I think it is a continuation for learning. I think that is really powerful. So, but what about your personification?
Money is my younger friend. It happens to be he, I guess. He can run around and get things done, and when I, for example, when I think of just buying something, money, my younger friend can run fast to get it, to fetch it. And Ken, I got it for
Wow.
you. Like when I'm thirsty, like a cup of coffee will be served, because of my friend. And I don't regard my friend as a servant. He's, your nicest friend always knows what you want.
Yes,
Yes. So like
exactly.
he gives me the right information at the right time, and he introduces me to the right people. And I always appreciate him for being in my life. So
Well,
money is,
how did you get that association, money being a younger friend?
I don't know, probably if he's older, like, oh, I know my back, I have a back pain, so he can't run up the stairs, or just he can run. So I think
Wow.
probably a younger friend with lots of energy, he can just, okay, got it, and then come back.
Well, I love the fact that you just use the word friend because I really doubt that many people, I don't think many people will associate money as friend. Probably, the other side of the extreme spectrum.
I have been fortunate with money. Like next week, I'm buying a house
Mm.
with about an acreage, and I'm just decorating it. I can see Mount Fuji from the deck, and it's a
Wow.
perfect party house for my friends and my participants of my seminars. I'm thinking, not for myself. I think I'll spend a lot of time there reading and writing, but at the same times, I have many author friends who need a space for themselves. And so I'm making that house open for my friends so they can get to stay there and just, spend a creative few weeks. And for the money, I'll pay in cash. And then what I have to do is just click, and then the money will be wired, and then the house is under my title. So it's as simple as that. And I don't have to have a mortgage. I just wire the money, and then it's the house is mine, and it's not necessarily mine, but the house is for my friends too.
Hmm.
So it's more fun than the money sitting in the bank. So
Wow.
I think money can be more having more fun, to go fetch the house.
Wow. This is just so beautiful. I just imagine, sitting like Fuji Mountain from your house, maybe, you might have a really big window and maybe eating Fuji apple. I love Fuji apple.
Yes, yeah, they're my favorite too.
Wow, that is a beautiful view right there.
Since I'm a prolific writer, I can just write a book in about 10 days, or it could be in a week. So like
Mm.
I just come up with some kind of charity. Okay, this is for single mom. So I donate all the royalties from the book for that cause, for the children who are forced into uh, ch- child labor factories in other Asian countries. So I can write a book, and as I'm writing the book, I'm happy for the entire 1 week, because the every word, every line I write is saving the children. You can write, or you can cook, you can speak for somebody else. It's a good feeling because my personal life has been taken care of already. So now it's my like Santa Claus time to start giving away. So every word I type, every line I write, I'm just feeling so much joy.
Mhm.
So I hope in about 10 years, probably, and after that, I think the economy will crash, and then there will be a new capitalism based on love and caring and sharing. We are in the process of that turmoil. I actually wrote a book on that last month. I'm sorry I didn't write so many in English yet. Only one book in English. So I'll wait another 5 years. There'll be probably some sort of basic income, universal income of sort. So people don't have to worry about money anymore. So we're almost there. So just hang in there.
Wow. This is like a really exciting news for many people, I believe. And now I want to talk about your daughter. In
Yes.
one of the podcast interview, I heard that, you know, the way you teach, some of the way that you teach your kids about money is like by wasting it. So and for me at first, like when I heard that, I couldn't believe what you said, you know, like waste money. But then the way I interpret it is that, you know, there are certain things in life that we cannot buy with money. But only by investing money we can buy, like for example, you know, lifelong memories or happiness, joy, or some kind of unforgettable, you know, moments, those kind of things. So my interpretation was okay. So what it's saying is maybe making the investment physical with money, with the physical money to really buy that untangible, intangible, you know, everlasting things. Is that what you're saying, or you actually tell them to just waste the money?
You know, when I made my first $1 million, you know, I thought as long as I hung on to my first $1 million, I'll be wealthy for the rest of my life. And but I knew, and I was predicted by many mentors, I was going to lose my first $1 million. And I didn't lose my first $1 million, but my first million was gone in about a couple of years. But until then, I save, and I realized that unless I let go of the money, even temporarily, as in a form of investment, was in form of giving, as a form of spending, not much will come back. So there are many ways that you can think, but by giving away my first million, I got a multiple more, and by doing that, I've been sort of repeating. So unless you know how to waste your money, you cannot be wealthy. Regret your decisions later, you know, for the rest of your life. Unless you make mistakes, you cannot learn. So a lot of people who want to just try to go to the shortcut, the shortest cut, usually fail. So I'm just teaching my daughter, just take as many detours as possible. You know?
I see.
Don't try to take a shortcut. For example, there's a way to go to Kyoto from Tokyo. If it's a bullet train, it's about 2 hours. But it's so fast you can't really see what's going on because it's going like 180 miles an hour. If you're a businessman, you should get on the bullet train. But if you want to enjoy life, you can take a walk, you can go by car, you can see and meet beautiful people. So life is not that, you know, just go to some place in the shortest, you know, time. Life is not a contest or like a competition, but a lot of people just mixed up. So, you know, you don't have to achieve your financial independence by the age 23, you know. So
you did it at age of 29, right?
29, but I mean, I kind of like run faster, but I kind of regret it. I should have spent more time, wasted more money and time, but because of my trauma, I wanted to first feel secure. So, but I'm encouraging other people, just enjoy life, because a lot of people sacrifice their life in the name of financial independence, in the name of investing, and the new age, people are not going to do it because it's such a waste of your time and money. And so people would not probably get the idea of saving. Like saving, why? You know? So, and I think the basic income should be, I'm writing a book on that, the money that disappears. So every month, government gives you $2,000, and spend it or not, you're going to lose it all at the end of every month. So if you spend $2,000, the day after, you get $2,000 reimbursed into your account. But if you don't spend all the money, it will be also gone too. So what would people do the day before? Spend it all, right?
Yeah.
So that's how economy kind of circulates. So I think the world problem is happening because we started saving and investing. You know, that's a whole another idea. So probably a lot of people don't get it because a lot of people still work and in the mindset that happened 400 years. I think 400-year history of capitalism is ending, which is great news for a lot of people because more people are suffering because of this economic system. it's only benefiting 1% of the population. So that's why I'm researching and start writing on the economic system that will make everybody happy. And in that age, everybody will be taken care of financially and medically too. So people don't have to worry about spending or saving and medical bills. It's again, if
Wow.
you're living in North America, this concept will be so hard to understand because I don't want to be political, but if you have to worry about going to a dentist or a clinic, it's not good for your health. So I think people in the world are not ready for what I'm writing right now. But I think
Wow.
people will probably see the possibility.
I would love to read your book firsthand when it comes out.
Yes, it'll come
Yeah, it
out
was
probably
so
next
interesting.
year.
Next year. Well,
Yeah.
I look forward to it. So just
Yes.
by listening, I just felt so much freedom inside because now
Yes.
I can
Great.
see the big picture of what you're talking about, especially, when what you meant about, wasting money. Now I see the whole picture. So that is awesome. And the reason why I feel so much freedom inside is because, we have this obsession about, making more and more and more and never feel satisfied. But when you think about like 3,000 years ago, when money was not even used, they used this barter system, right? They trade things like you have grapes, okay, I have sheep, so let's trade. And they just found a way to really make their ends meet and survive and thrive and enjoy their lives without really necessarily have that modern day currency in the form of money. So I think we as a human we have the capacity of just really living our life without really having a lot of money or even with no money because we are so good at adapting into new environment. So I'm really looking forward to reading your really innovative, thought-provoking book next year. Talk about 10 years and you talk about, like helping children and people around the world, like billions of people around the world, right, with your concept. But what is really next for you when it comes to, your Happy Money book and all the other books and tools and resources that you have? What is your end goal?
I just want to lay out what's possible for human being. So once we are coming out of the tunnel in about a year or two, because there will be a vaccination or one way or another, the virus will go away within a couple of years. There have been, the past 250 years, there are 10 pandemic, and all of them disappeared in 2 years' time. So after 2 years, things will go back to not normal, but to new beginning. So we have to really learn to share instead of trying to take advantage of other people. So I think we put big walls on borders, right? Like I cannot
Mm,
fly to US or you cannot fly to us or Europe right as of now, but it will be lifted away in about a year. I mean, a few months for business people, and about a year for a lot of people. And I think we're going to be tested. Either we're going to live peacefully globally. We failed it 80 years ago, so after the pandemic. So we have to learn from the history, and we get the second chance, or the third chance, that we can cooperate globally, or are we going to start fighting? So for the next few years, I predict that all the worst thing will come out from all of
mm.
us. The fear, the violence, and division will just happen. But after turmoil, a couple of years, I think we'll have a beautiful days ahead. So to do
Wow.
that, we really have to get rid of all the toxins. And I think the toxins are coming out in the form of violence and fear and anxiety. So as we heal the pain globally, I think we are evolving to something new.
Wow, new age, new days coming. I really hope and believe and pray that they will come in no time.
Yeah, and I think you can start from your own life. Like in my life, what's going to happen is already manifested in my life. Just complete sharing and respect of who we are, and also sharing. So I respect people and they respect me. So maybe culturally more so in Japan too, but I think that's something we can all do. And that's a possibility in 10 years.
Wow. It's really, really awesome to hear that. And now we are almost time to wrap up our awesome time together. I'm so, so honored and privileged to have this wonderful time with you. So now what I want to ask is, are you ready for two surprises or what?
Yes, I'm very ready.
Okay, then show me your excitement.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, so first surprise for you is that I as a founder of Money Master Kids program, so we have this virtual class that are used as a school curriculum in some part of the world, right? In different countries in Europe and it's Mexico and China. I would love to have your Money Master Happy Money concept in our virtual class.
Yeah, thank you. I feel so honored and congratulations on your beautiful success. I think your material and content is so much needed in this time. So I feel so honored and I'm very happy to support you in any ways I can.
Thank you. ありがとうございました。
ありがとう。
ありがとう. And then now, next surprise for you is that, are you ready?
Yes.
I made a song for you.
That's a surprise, yes.
That's a surprise, right? Well, I'm a songwriter. First of all, I'm not good at singing, so really don't take it like any different languages. I'm just an amateur. After I read your book and just listened to some of your practice interviews, I was so inspired by your story about, like you sharing the story about your mentor, Wahe Takeda. Wahe. Him playing this thank you song over all the candies that he was making. So like by the time when the candies were done, like millions of thank you messages were saturated in this candies, right? So that was so inspiring to me. And then within a week, I just put everything together and make a song called Arigamsa. So arigato, 감사합니다, and then in this song, there are 50 different languages saying thank you.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And this is a song that I pay tribute to your mentor. He's deceased now, right?
Yes, a few years ago.
Yeah, and also to you for dedicating your time, your life to making a difference in other people's lives. So I think this is so beautiful. But when I was making that song, I was so grateful. And then, of course, it gave me the opportunity to learn 50 different languages, how to say thank you. But I was so in the state of bliss.
Wow.
I was so happy. So thank you. Arigamsa. Arigato, 감사합니다, arigamsa. Okay, now, well, we're going to end this show soon, but I want to say that you are now invited to be one of our guardians of the stars. Stars are all the children in this world. In this world and the galaxy of the universe, you are chosen by fate to protect the lives of the stars. Are you up to this challenge?
Yes.
Great! So we will send you a certificate of a guardian of the stars as a confirmation soon, along with the Arigamsa song link. So before we close, there are 3 simple last questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be very simple and quick, I promise. So first question, if you can go back to your past and meet your 8-year-old self, what would you want to say to him?
I just probably hug him and just tell him that you have a beautiful life ahead of you.
Well, I want to meet that boy too. Now, my next question is, if you can go further into the future, I know you as a Japanese, it looks like you're very healthy and you're going to have a long longevity. Well, I want to say 100, but let's say, 92. So you meet your 92-year-old self. What do you think he will say to you?
You're just a young chicken. So take a risk, spend all the money.
My last question. Here at Money Master Kids, we believe that words are the domain of creation because often words become reality. What do you want to say to all the stars as a guardian of the stars, all the stars, all the children in this world? What do you want to say to them?
Enjoy life. Because as you get old, all those bitter memories become fun memories. And all the glories are also fun memories too. So enjoy your life to the fullest, take a risk and fly. So whatever you have a hard time saying yes to, say yes and go for it. Enjoy.
Wow, so lovely and so beautiful and inspiring and motivating. Thank you so much for sharing your heart with us. Not only just the wisdom, but also your heart. You really give your heart to us, and I can feel that. And I want to say thank you, arigato.
You're so wonderful, and I can really feel that you have so much heart to share. So I think a lot of kids will appreciate you many years later. I am who I am because of, Sunny. So
And they will also say, I am who I am also because of Ken Handa, because I'm going to introduce your happy money concept in my virtual classes.
Thank you. So let me know whatever I can do for you, because I write a book and then I do only one seminar. It's about like 8,000, 9,000 people virtually. And at the moment, that's all I do now. I just take some interviews, but I'm enjoying most of my time in the forest.
Thank you. Well, how can we find you?
You can find all the information at kenhonda.com. There's a mini test and also online free course too. So you can enjoy more about happy money.
Thank you so much for joining our show. We'll see each other again. We'd love to have you back on our show maybe some other time.
Yes.
And continue our conversation.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you. See you next time.
감사합니다.